And we're live with Wojtek, who's doing me a big favour because he's feeling a little bit dicky, but he's coming anyway. Solid. He's doing me a solid. Whatever that means. But it's an Americanism I just use.
Dicky, that's a British thing, I guess.
Pardon?
Dicky, I was wondering about that.
Oh God, it sounded a bit rude.
Like, you said it before, like, oh, because you are feeling a little bit dicky, we'll start now. And I was like, what?
yeah, it's nothing to do with like I'm not saying that Wojtek's horny. I'm not saying he's no, it just means feeling unwell.
Dickish, but what?
Yeah, it's like a dicky tummy. It just means unwell. Right then, so what we're going to do, folks, is in an aim not to be taken down off YouTube, instead of sharing the screen, I'm going to point my webcam over there, like that, and then I can go through some images. And no, so that shouldn't be taken down just for that.
I think you have to be mostly careful about sound. There are like scripts that scan YouTube videos for sound patterns that are licensed. With video and images, I don't know. But in this resolution, you won't have any problem.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty sharp. So what I'll do for what I was going to do is, I thought other people would turn up, and those other people, if they're listening right now, naughty, naughty. Hopefully, I'll see you in the future where you can redeem yourselves. Right then. So Wojtek, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Great as always. Game of Thrones never disappoints me. Not a single episode was like something that I regret watching, and it delivers some very great stuff. I mean, the opening scene, Jon Snow is dead. Another beloved character.
Oh, your sound's gone. Yeah. Oh, your sound went down a bit. Yeah, you need to be a bit louder. I'll try and go into the control room and make you a bit louder. I've got you on maximum at the moment, but so any other.
So, Jon Snow died, and he dead as the first scene. That was something I was hoping for, that we would see the Jon Snow or the North Wall watch storyline first. That they wouldn't do some silly stuff like just ignore this, and when they finish the last season with Jon Snow's death. So that was interesting with the speech. This guy that was the second in command. What's his name?
Thorne.
The speech he gave about admitting that he killed him. That was something I wouldn't have expected. Like, he just flat out says, "Yeah, I."
Oh, your sound's gone again. You had some good booming sound, and it suddenly went again. Now it's really faint. Now, if I were an ENTP, you might think, Benny, I'm not trolling you. I am not trolling you. This is what happened.
I don't know. Problems with
that noise better. Oh, you've had problems before.
Yeah, I mean, the camera was not working, so maybe it's giving up after all these years.
Well, it's okay now. I'll let you know when it's coming. Yeah, I felt about this episode is the baddie. I think this is one of the best written episodes I've seen of Game of Thrones. With like little character moments, like two characters I don't like. I don't like him. He got some good motivation. Ramsay, the bastard, got some little bits of motivation. I just think that the writing went up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like nearly all the little bit of rise in standard in the quality of writing.
Yes, I mean they are getting more experience at this, and they are getting better instead of wars that happens in other series, like that they really lose their touch, but not in this one, and I love it for that.
Yeah, and that's because I've got 200 slides, folks. Will eventually get through them. So any other overall thoughts, and maybe because we're starting here, if you want to talk about maybe events that have happened up to now, why you like the series, things like that.
I mean that would be like a monologue that would take 2 hours. So
Okay.
I mean, I guess everyone who watches this eventually knows Game of Thrones and has probably watched up until this point. Although in this group, someone said that she is in the 4th season, so maybe we should be careful about spoilers. Oh my God! Tell her not to watch it. I told that Jon Snow is dead.
Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't. Anyone who's silly enough to watch a review.
Yeah.
This is what I put with the other ones. I'm gonna maybe change because I did with the Jeff ones. Review stroke spoil.
Yes, put it in the title, because spoiling Game of Thrones is
a sin. It's a sin.
Very great and not non-excusable sin. Because
yeah.
one of the most appealing things to that is the appreciation of what will happen next and who will die and who won't. So, yeah.
And interestingly enough, Wojtek and I sort of like, it wasn't just a case of him agreeing with me. We sort of like came to the same conclusion independently that Game of Thrones, although a great series, doesn't have fantastic rewatch value. Although, if they keep writing like this, then it does have rewatchability from a characterization point of view. If they keep it up at the standard that they've set in this episode.
Yes, like for example, I was watching it today when I came home from work, and now like half an hour ago I rewatched some scenes, and I was like just going fast forward, and then there were some scenes that I was like watching in their entirety. It was part of the speech from Form, and Brienne's battle, which was Brienne is this knight woman, the knight warrior, woman warrior knight, and she was very badass in this scene. Like she comes there, saves Sansa, and kills like 5 or 6 dudes with just her and her squire. There's something about Game of Thrones that I like. Me and Ben often talk about this. That fight scenes are pretty realistic. They don't do the stormtrooper effect often. Sometimes in a few cases, which I didn't like, they did this. But like, you never see one person beating 100 guys like in, I don't know, Hercules or something like this. So, and you always kind of expect even the main characters could die in this scene. So it's more there's more tension to it. Ben, what did you think of this
What
scenes?
Oh well, what I've done is I've got this is why I let Wojciech in first. Is I made some notes on all the scenes, so all 15 major scenes, and I've got some images, so I can sort of like go through it in order. So that's why I wanted to do like sort of opening monologue on the because then I can, and then what this will allow you to do is as we go through the images, they might jog your memory or that anything of stimulate something, a point in your mind. So yeah, the first thing, so the opening scene, you've got Jon Snow dead in the snow. So there we go. I wonder how much you got paid for this episode, just to lie there.
I don't know. Why do you think? Speaking about that, I wonder more, and I won't spoil it now. I wonder more how much another actor got paid who appears in the very end of this episode for this scene. You know what I'm speaking about?
We will see, because I've taken many grabs.
Yes.
And now, unfortunately, when we have it with two people in, when we're doing this hangout, you can see two squares at the bottom, and
yes.
But when it's just two people, you don't actually see the square with the other person. Now, when you're watching it in high definition, you can see quite a bit of the like little squares at the bottom.
Mm.
So, for instance, like when it's shown, it's just like one person at a time. You don't see the reaction of the other person. So, Google, you could change that, please. So,
isn't like an automatic thing where it switches between?
It switches, but you don't see the other person though. When it's switched to one person, you don't switch the second person. But if there's three or more people in the hangouts, then you do see the little squares at the bottom.
No, okay, I didn't know that.
Well, observance. And I put here about number 2. Folks called Thorn are usually bad guys, usually baddies.
Because they have thorns. I don't know.
And then I put here, Thorn got a. Here we go. This is where he has his. I've got to put here. Thorn got a good speech, which was well enough written. The first time his character has been rounded out a bit, because usually it's been just shown as this a-hole ESTP type character, and at least this showed some reasoning behind his actions. Even if it might have partly been a bit of BS, at least there was a little speech there about his motivation.
Yeah, I mean, he has bullshit reason for doing what he did, but they make sense, and that's great. And they like. I like also the reaction shots after his speech. Like that would be exactly how people would react to that. Because all riled up about half of them is all riled up about this treachery and killing their boss, and half of them was participating in that, so they are like laid back. And then he gives the speech. Yeah, we killed him, but we had reasons for it, and I stand by it. And and that was like after that the whole room went kind of like. They were irritated. I think they were just as irritated as us viewers from this speech. Like, all right.
I mean, as we know in real life, it's not a case of just one reason, and both things can be true. Yes, he wants to be leader and was pissed off that Jon Stark was made. Because remember, in the previous season, he was the losing candidate.
Yes.
And Jon Stark won. So you can say he wants the power, but I also believe him in that thing. Like, he's been there a long time. They've been fighting the wildlings. So both reasons can be true. And it's up to the audience to decide how much he actually cares.
Now that you talk about it, no, it's not for the audience to decide, because we get a scene soon after that where it is shown that he actually is a not trustworthy, power-grabbing, lying bastard.
So did you say not or is?
Is. I guess we'll come to that scene.
Oh yeah, we'll see that. We've got here. Okay.
And I mean, he's written as such a straightforward character. I mean, yes, he just is like that. And
yeah.
In other series, they would maybe make a caricature out of him, like this asshole guy. But they are good with the nivellating, the getting the right nuances into it. Like he is what he is, but you still go with, well, yeah, okay,
yeah,
makes sense. I mean, you can't even be like really mad at him. Like think, okay, it's the villain. Because, yeah, I mean, from his point of view, he did what he did. I mean, he's an asshole, but at least he's a consistent asshole.
I mean, it weren't like, it wasn't just him that was pissed off. Loads of them were pissed off with that alliance with the, and like the young boy that was part of it was, but also, you said there's a scene. Now, also, I'm thinking here, the CGI in the wolf was only just noticeable. It's like close but no cigar. And I'm thinking in maybe like less than 5 years, the CGI might get to a point where it may not be noticeable except to people in the industry. Right, because it's almost photorealistic at the moment.
I never.
Almost.
I rarely get moments where I disbelieve the CGI effects. It's okay for me, but I'm not a very visual person. I would notice.
Yeah. So was the scene? When you said there was another scene with Thorn.
When he comes up to the room where the loyalists of Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, that's later on. Yeah.
He gives this speech about giving what's the name of Stannis Baratheon second hand?
Oh, so it's Seaworth or Sir Davos Seaworth.
Davos, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that. Well, it's that they don't believe him. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but Davos plainly states, "I know a man like him. As soon as we will open the door, he will kill us."
Yeah, but what I mean is though, that can be absolutely true, that he would kill them and lie and do that. But the other thing can also be true, that he actually felt that just because he would lie and have them killed, that's one thing. But that's actually a separate thing from maybe he does. I mean, just because he is a bastard doesn't mean, well, a metaphorical bastard doesn't mean that he doesn't think that that Jon Snow did betray the Night's Watch by doing a deal with the wildlings.
Yeah, but then also he wants the power. Maybe not the power. I mean, he's not like power hungry. He just had a vision of his life. Like it was, he was working hard towards being the Night's Watch. What's the title? What's the title of the Night's Watch?
Is it like Lord Commander of the Night's Watch?
Right. Yeah. He was working for years to become the Lord Commander. Yeah. And you said ESTP. I think rather ESTJ, like
maybe
ESTJ. He works hard. He's maybe kind of community man, like high values, a very SJ values, like where he talks about the watch and giving the life to the watch and everything. So
yeah, I forgot about that from last season. Yeah, you're right. More SJ than SP.
And he walked towards it, and then there comes this boy, breaks all the rules of the watch, who do not make sense anymore. Like it used to be, that is the SJ part. It used to be like this: they are fighting the wildlings, and now some boy from somewhere comes up, breaks the rules, breaks his vows, and becomes and steals his job, steals his the thing he was working his whole life for. Yeah, and then he invites their enemy into their gates and even gives them the land that they own. Yeah, I mean, from his perspective, it's stupid, because this is like the stereotypical SJ thing we hate about SJs, like sticking to traditions when it doesn't make any sense to stick to traditions. Because, I mean, war is coming with the White Walkers, and the Wildlings are not the enemy. But not for him. I mean, he's used to something and he wants to.
You're right. He's not seeing the bigger picture.
Yes, he's not seeing the bigger picture.
And I don't actually think that he's seeing the wildlings. He's not seeing the he's not seeing the Deathwalkers. Sorry, the White Walkers army.
Yes, because he doesn't see it. He doesn't believe it. Even, I mean, there were other watchmen who talked about this, but I think he's like this typical guy. What he doesn't see, he doesn't believe.
Yeah. In this scene, they were talking about those who could aid them, and they were hinting at it. Do you think they were hinting at the wildlings helping them, or some other?
Very obviously. I think I don't know any other possibility. Like, I mean, they said this is we are not the only ones who Jon Snow helped or is friends with, so they are going for the wildlings for sure. I mean, who else? Of who else could you think? Like, the Starks are not anymore the power in the north, so Stannis Baratheon is beaten, so, and he does have an army, so.
Oh, well, I won't talk about that. That might be a bit of a spoiler. Right. I have some advanced knowledge. So this sigil here, do you know what that is, that sigil?
Yes, it's the Bolton Flightman sigil.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the part of a fantasy series where you have guys that have a flayed man, a man stripped of his skin and crucified upside down as their family sigil. Well, I don't think that would go well in like medieval England. So even then, or well,
I thought she looked good in this costume. I thought this was a good costume.
Yeah, I mean, it was very leathery. It was.
Yes.
It was like somewhat what we talk about in the Blake 7 review, what we read about in your fan book. The disturbing thing that there's a Blake 7 BSDM club. If you're interested, contact us.
Yeah, and now, folks, that is a made-up club that they just put in for jokes. But the actual proper fan society of Blake 7 is called Horizon.
Okay.
And I was always looking here. Everyone who played dead was very good. They held their breath. They weren't breathing, unlike Gan in Blake 7.
Yeah, I guess they are schooled to play dead people. Is there
Oh, yeah.
other lessons in actor schools to play dead people and how it's done correctly?
But I think these days, like, they tell them, look, you can see everything in high definition these days.
Mm.
And one of the things where they fell down was when they were outside running in the snow. I'll show that in a moment. There wasn't really enough breath.
Yes, not enough condensation breath. Yeah, it wasn't that cold. It was a set. It wasn't like real snow or anything. That is something that I noticed. Like it didn't seem like a real set because they were not cold enough. But I like the scene before when he gives the speech about her not being afraid of him, but you certainly were, like to his master cheater. I mean,
so you think this guy was
what do
a
you think in
maester?
general about him, about Ramsey?
Yeah. Pardon?
What do you think in general about Ramsey?
Oh, he's a real a-hole, and I think that the actor who plays him is not necessarily going to be winning any Oscars anytime soon. Now, the guy that plays his father, really good. Really, really good presence about him.
Yeah.
I really liked. This was I particularly liked the next scene, which was fantastic for the relationship between Reese and Ramsey. But this one was good as well, where he talks about how much he liked Miranda, right? And that bit was good. But then it ends with the tryst. So they asked her then, "Oh, do you want her buried or in a funeral pyre?" And then he says, "She's good meat. Feed her to the hounds." And I thought that now with that writing decision, there's a pro and con to that. Where are we in the sequence? The con to that is that it undercuts the scene in order to get a twist, but it underlines the darkness of the character of Bolton's bastard Ramsey.
Yes, I mean, they do something like they like to do where they portray the villain characters in a more human moment, and Ramsey of all people gets like a human moment here. I like this scene very much. Like you see him talking about his bond to this girl, so she wasn't just another plaything for him; she meant something for him. And then at the end, I mean, yes, he's a psychopath. I mean, you said before he's an a-hole. No, I mean he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
So I mean, Thorne is an a-hole, but Ramsey is totally a psychopath.
So who do you see as an a-hole?
The new Lord Master of Lord Commander of the Watch, Thorne.
Oh yeah, right. Thorne's an a-hole. Ramsey's a psychopath. Yeah. Different degrees. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Now this next scene.
Talk about next scene. Yeah.
Next scene is fantastic.
Yes.
And you can almost see a little bit. First of all, this actor, big thumbs up to this guy. He has a lot of presence about him. Now, there's a little bit of because this acting style from some of these guys is a little bit similar to the Blake 7 acting style. You know, where it's a little bit rawer, it's a little bit theatrical. You can imagine some of these in the world of Blake 7.
No.
This guy I could.
Ben, I know you are a fan, but no.
What do you mean?
There's like Blake 7 and Game of Thrones are in two very different categories of series. And
what I mean,
any
style of acting.
Yes, but it's not very theatrical. Like even in the scene, he reminds me of oh god, my name's memory. He's dead now, father of Cersei.
Oh yes, I know what you mean. You mean Charles Dance?
Charles Dance. He's like famous in Britain. Is he British?
Yes,
I saw him
yeah.
I saw him in in another movie that was a British production. So yeah, so he's similar to him in his portrayal. Yes, rather this authoritarian variation.
No, maybe I shouldn't have used the word theatrical. What I mean is, in England at the time, they taught people how to speak in a certain way. I should have said Shakespearean. A Shakespearean RADA accent is what they spoke in on Blake 7. Gareth Thomas, Paul Darrow, Jacqueline Pearce, they're all taught to talk in a stagey way. And his voice is that kind of stage voice that you get. Like, you can imagine doing a Shakespeare part, is what I mean. It's a Shakespearean type voice. It's not a contemporary, it's not a regional accent. There's nowhere in England that someone talks with that accent. That is a stage accent.
As a non-native speaker, I don't pick up on such things, so it's difficult to tell for me. But I don't get a stagey feel of any of the characters in Game of Thrones, and that's
it's top line stagey stuff rather than bad.
Yes.
It's like your proper Shakespearean actors, a little bit like you watch Star Trek Next Generation. It's the same kind of accent as Ian McKellen as Patrick Stewart. It's that RADA type Shakespearean accent. That those two, their natural voices were not that at all. They were taught how to speak like that in drama school. It's the Shakespearean accent.
Yeah, I mean it's great. And what I like about the scene is where Ramsay is put into this difficult situation where he's sweating basically because yes, very good screenshot, yeah. Like, and this is a payoff because of course we hate Ramsay and now we see him in trouble and because of his actions, how he treats Sansa. Sansa has not a lot of luck. I mean, like, throughout the whole series, she's treated badly. And I mean, part of it is, I mean, it isn't deserved, but like, she started out as this arrogant pre-teenage girl, and she wanted to marry a prince, and what she got was somewhat different than what she was expecting, and it's ongoing. Like even this episode, you kind of feel for Sansa now because she. I mean, all the Stark characters kind of don't have a good run in the show.
Right. The actress that plays Sansa, Sophie Turner, is a Facebook friend, but that doesn't really mean much at the moment.
Whoa.
Right. So, but no interaction. It's not a little bit more interaction with James Callis. I am such a name dropper. Right. So I wish I would like more interaction with James Callis. So if you're watching this, James, more interaction would be good. Right. Right. So this is a good scene for talking about the relationship between Rhys and Ramsay Bolton. So, for instance, from the previous season, we know that, and Rhys really does see Ramsay as, in my opinion, an effective bastard. He sees, look, he gets this done, but like he criticized him. I'll just go through my notes and then we can talk about the relationship. So, for instance, he starts off by saying, hey, we've won a victory, a great victory. And then he says, do you feel like a victor? And he sort of negs him. And he has a go at you know, so I put here, he sees them as effective but malicious. And then later on he talks about, oh, you had to play your games with Sansa. You had to play your games with Theon Greyjoy. And then here, then he says to him, we no longer have Sansa Stark. You played your games with her. And then he said, then there was this key thing of, he said that he would like get a deed to like last season, like to make him his son, to legitimize him because he's an illegitimate child. And then he says that he needs to marry Sansa so that he can produce a male heir. And then there was subtext about if he doesn't, he'll be back to being Rhys's bastard rather than Rhys's heir. And then there's other subtext with it because he's married some. He married a woman who is no oil painting, shall we say, and because he wants her to produce a male heir for him. And then he mentioned something about let's hope that the Maester is right, that it will be a boy. And Rhys and Ramsay's probably thinking, oh no, hope it's not. Now, I don't know how egregious it gets, whether, you know, I could imagine a situation where the writers might have Ramsay engineer a little accident for the wife of Rhys, and so that she miscarries. I could imagine that.
Mm.
And then what would happen is maybe it would be the end of the character because Rhys would find out and then spifflicate him.
I really wonder what his father's game is here, because his father is a psychopath just like his son.
Not as much. I don't think.
Maybe
I don't think he's a mean, ruthless. He's a ruthless bastard, but not a psychopath.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe he's more a mature psychopath. Like, he maybe used to be like Ramsay, and he says something in this regard. He already knew that he was his son when this woman he basically raped came with him, and he wanted to throw him in the river or something like that. And then he saw his eyes, and he immediately knew he was his son. I think he like. I don't know what this is about. How he provokes Ramsay, like with this whole thing about his wife having another baby. The way he presents it to Ramsay is very strange. Like he has some motive to do exactly that. Like he's playing. There will be probably more about that. I have like a feeling because. How he sets Ramsay up. I mean, he knows Ramsay. He knows he's a total psychopath and ruthless and everything. Why does he confront him with this?
Right. I think what it is it's bad writing. Because in reality, you're right. He would not do that. I mean, you don't. If you're a super manipulative person, you're not going to rub it in someone's face like that. I mean, you would do if the character was like stupid and like really arrogant, then they would do it. I just think that that's bad acting, so that I mean, like, we both like this scene.
I'm not sure about that, because Game of Thrones delivers, so I'm not so sure if there's not something more about this, and we will find out later on. I don't know. It's not like I read some theory or something. It's something I noticed, and who knows?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, sometimes people, you know, sometimes people have a big mouth. I've got a little bit of a big mouth. Maybe it's part of it. I think one of the reasons he's a bad actor. He's not a great actor, whereas the other guy playing Rhys Bolton, his father, is a good actor, and I think that's why he appears less on the psychopathic spectrum to me, because I like the actor. This guy, where is he? This guy, this actor, and he's able to make him seem less psychopathic in the way he plays him. The character might be, but the way he plays him as someone who thinks more, someone who's more reserved. And right, so we've done that scene, I think. Unless you want to say anything more about that relationship.
Just as a fun note, there are a lot of fan theories out there. I try not to read a lot of them because I don't want to spoil myself, but one that I read, and this, it's probably not true, is that he, the father, Bolton, the father, is
Bolton.
a half White Walker. A skin-changing, immortal half White Walker. And that he wants to raise Ramsay, his son, to impersonate him later.
Right, I'm just going to take my glasses off so that I don't get fingerprints on them. Double face palm at that theory.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's totally out there and it's probably not true, but it's interesting anyways.
Right, so again, this is one of these things where it's like, that's pretty good CGI. That's like, just not quite. Not quite. I've just got to adjust things. Right, then we go forward to, yeah, the lack of breath. And also some of the things with them in the cold. You may have noticed, you've been in cold places, where when people are, like when you see someone in the cold, their nose has got a little bit red. There's little things. They did make their lips a little bluer, but like the nose goes red.
Yes, they even made the faces more pale, like more pale when later afterwards when they wade through this river. But like it's, I wasn't convinced. Like they didn't look that cold, and I mean, going into this cold river itself wouldn't be like that bad. Going out of the river in the snow, being wet, that's bad.
Yes, yeah.
That's the point where you really start freezing. When you go into cold water, I mean, it's the first shock, and then it's okay because your body produces heat and gets used to it. And water can be colder than 0 degrees. So it's but you lose more heat because it's a better capacity of heat. But whatever.
It also depends, like if they like really have been running a long way and they're like really hot. Because in the winter, I like once cycled across Leicester, and it was like in January, and I like stripped off because I was just like so hot, and I stood in my grandmother's garden, like in my vest because I was just so hot. Like, so if they've been on the run and they're like so hot from running, then that will help them withstand the coldness of the water, as you say. But then what will happen is you've got all those wet clothes freezing, and then a little bit more. But yeah.
Yeah, they would. I was expecting that they would do a campfire later on now, but I was wondering how. I mean, it's difficult to make a fire when you.
Oh yeah. Unless you know, it's difficult. I mean, you might know how to make a fire. Do you know how to make a fire?
Yes, I'm very good at it. I made fire under the most difficult circumstances.
Oh, very good. You could do a video on it in future. Like go outside, avoid tech on the road.
Survival.
Oh right. So okay. Pardon? What did you say?
IMDb survival.
Arrivaled.
Survival.
Oh, INTP survival.
Yes, that's like, well, something more ISTPs would do. Survival videos.
Right.
Maybe one of his commenters on your videos was right. She typed me as an ISTP.
Who typed you as ISTP?
There was like I was. I think it was one of our hangouts, and there was one user, I think a female user, who said he's this type, and I am an ISTP, but she used like LSI.
Yeah.
So I was like, finally, someone types me as an SE type. I'm making progress.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually flattered because it means I've got more dimensions.
Yes.
I get flattered by that. I mean, it's like if someone was like, say someone was an INTJ and everyone kept on saying they were an INTJ, and well, they wouldn't care. But like, I do think it's good to be called other types, as long as you know you are your type, and you don't think people are, you know, if you're confident in your own type, it doesn't matter.
Yes, I mean, and there are some things I'm confident about. I mean, I thought about that a lot, and I analyzed myself a lot. So, the only alternate theory I could have were that I'm some sort of very strange INFJ, but I don't think so.
That's part of the benefit thing, where a lot of INTPs have been through a stage where they wishfully think that they're an INFJ. And it goes the other way around as well. Some INFJs can think that they're INTPs.
At least they try to portray this behavior. It's
yeah, and that's called the beneficiary shift.
Yes, and I mean there's something going on between INTPs and INFJs. I mean, they might be, at least for male INTPs, female INFJs might be the ideal partner even. Isn't Victor Gulenko even, isn't his wife an INFJ?
No, ENFJ.
ENFJ, okay.
You see, what it is, from the INTP's point of view, it depends. I think if the INFJ is like an Enneagram 5, and maybe if the INTP is maybe a creative subtype with enhanced SE, and it all depends on how much the INFJ wants their suggestive SE tickled. I mean, because they get their TI tickled by the INTP, especially if they're an Enneagram 5. They can get their TI tickled. It's how much do they get their SE tickled and whether they want it tickled or not. So subtypes come into it as well. DCNH subtypes, which is another video I recommend. That one and attachment styles. I should create a playlist for you. Ben's recommendations, like 5 videos.
Yeah, and since I just called in sick, I can watch them tomorrow.
Excellent. So, oh, and of course, for anyone watching, Wojtek is genuinely poorly. You've not just thrown a sickie, you genuinely are poorly.
Yeah, right, I'm catching something.
Right. So, basically, so we're on scene. Like this is how we're progressing, Wojtek. There's 15 scenes to cover, and we're now on the 7th.
Oh my
scene.
God, it's already nearly an hour in this vid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But people want the depth. People want the depth.
Yes,
that's what I keep telling myself. Right. So
like the first scenes. Okay, next scene. Brianna badass scene. Love it. Tell me more.
Right. Okay. What did we get here? Okay. My summary for this is when they initially turned up, the House Bolton troops, I thought, oh no, I hope they're not captured again, because then that makes the escape useless.
Yes.
Padding in terms of story-wise. So I wrote this. Good that Sansa and Theon were not recaptured, because that would have made the escape of very limited story value. And then I put Brienne of Tarth, 6'4". Oh, I once talked to a woman who was 6'4". And I said, you know, you could have been Brienne in Game of Thrones, and she agreed. Right.
Opening scene of the opening moment of the scene. What's that? A bloody woman? Bam! Yeah. It's great. I mean, Brianna is a total badass, and I mean, she's portrayed as a strong woman in the literal sense, and I like it. Like, I mean, she's really portrayed as a strong woman, not like some emo Bambi who plays a empowered woman role. But she's like, yeah, that's how a woman badass should be played and should be portrayed.
So, you sounded like you got some suggestive SE there, Wojtek. Maybe you could be INFJ. No, you're proper INTP. You're as INTP as David Kersey. He's INTP as keep it clean, flip. Right. Oh yeah, and then then there was a little bit of. I tried to get the moments where like they got the heads chopped off, like the maximum gory.
Yes, and I like the brutality of it. They don't go with the gore, like blood splattering everywhere, but it's still, this fight was very brutal. Like really, like it wasn't an artistic fight, and always when Brianna fights, it's not like this artistic Bravo's face sensor fencing kind of fight. It's always like this brutal kick to the nuts kind of fight. Yes, that's good.
I think that's how they had some manuals on fighting technique at the time, and it was fancy in Italy. Maybe it was a little bit of that hack and slash stuff in the Middle Ages, especially in the.
But that's Brianna for you. That's awesome.
Right, then you got Podrick.
What's his little fight like? I mean, he's the squire. He wasn't introduced like a fighting character, and now he is on par with a soldier guy. I mean,
yeah, I thought that was a little bit.
A northern.
A little bit weird.
Yeah.
I think this is a CGI horse, and then we go forward a bit, and then we got here. Yeah, this is when they went, because these days. They are not going to do this kind of stuff with... And then in this bit, I saw that it's so close to being photorealistic. It really is so close. It's like one more layer of rendering. They just need like 1 or 2 more layers of rendering, then it would be... Now, what I would say, folks, is when you watch this in standard definition, you can't really tell. It's just when it goes to high definition and you're watching it on a big screen, it's just that... You can tell it's CGI.
Okay.
And this is just 720p. Now, what happened, folks? There was a series with a series called Look about horse racing, and it got cancelled because 2 or 3 horses died during production, and so they cancelled the series. And that was a HBO series, I think, and it had Dustin Hoffman in the lead role. In Look, and it got cancelled because the horses died. So that is a CGI horse, and then that maybe
who's that?
That is just one of the Bolton men.
What kind of was off-putting for me in this scene was why don't they attack all at once? Like they wait for the duels. But it wasn't that bad because I mean it was a surprise attack, and they were like confused what the fuck is happening. A woman is attacking us.
Yeah,
so they get a pass on that, and also maybe it's a northern thing. Maybe they like really fight duel style. Like I don't know.
Then you got this guy. Not a fan of this actor. Alfie Allen.
He's good. I mean,
he's not horrendously bad, but he's not great.
I mean, you can't like his character very much, especially before his transformation into Reek. And but then again, what Game of Thrones often does, you view a character that was portrayed in a villainous kind of way, more sympathetically done. Oh yes, the cutscene. I love that from the northern cold to the southern sun. It was like maybe because it's cold right here and was freezing to death today because the weather suddenly changed and I got out in
Right.
basically like this and
I mean, when I'm comparing folks, like someone like the guy who plays Bolton's bastard Ramsay and the guy and Alfie Allen who plays Theon Greyjoy, you have to compare them with somebody like Lena Headey who plays Cersei, a proper actress. And so we've got the CGI boat, and then you've got here, and that's when someone comes in and says, "Hey, the boat's coming in," and then she's like runs down,
yeah,
and then
you know what will happen, and you feel bad for her. Like, I mean, she just went through this whole walk of shame thing and lost one of her sons, and now you know what's happening.
Right. Yeah. Now we know something's happened to the mountain. Right. We've seen that he was experimented on by one of the maesters, one of the maesters that's into the dark arts. And you saw his eyes.
It's
were
very
like blue, like there's a monster under there.
It's very Frankensteinish. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't like the whole thing because I mean, there's no mystery about it. It's Frankenstein. I mean, it's a weird doctor that makes experiment and creates this monster. If the resurrected mountain happens to kill this master that created him, oh god, this will be terrible. This will be such.
So the change in her face.
Yes.
What I'm going to try and do, folks, is what I'll do is I'll put a different mouse in. Ben's mice, I'll put a mouse in that is better at the zooming action because it's got a scrolly wheel. That's what I was saying about a scrolly wheel, and I'll try and you can see the good acting ability of Lena Headey because I don't want to do a proper because the video might get taken down. What I can do is like angle things. There we go. A little bit of a better view. Right. And so the look of realization where she sees like a funeral barge. There we go. You can see it in her eyes. And then more and more concern.
Yes.
Eyes.
The gradual change in her face was excellent acting, as you said. I mean, yes, she's very good as an actress.
Yeah, not overdoing it. The eyes are watering.
No, and I mean, especially how gradual it was, like slowly moving from hopeful to hopeless, and excellent.
Yeah, and that's how people they've got to learn. And like I said, it's this standard that I'm judging other people by, like her, and then Reese Bolton, and that's why I'm so picky these days about.
Yeah, but I mean, it probably speaks to a certain style that you like. Like I think Reese Bolton plays this character good. I mean, but that's just how he is. I mean, and he portrays his character well. So
yeah. I went back and I did this to like explain more. So like she sees like sort of like a funeral type boat, and you can say, "Oh no," you can see from here. You can see from his body language.
Yes, exactly, and because they are twins and they know each other very well,
intimately.
Very good.
Body there.
Yeah, she probably can tell just by how her brother looks.
And yes, and again, another example, folks. The characterization has gone up a level. Like with these baddie characters, that add in some more. Like this is one of Cersei's best scenes where she talks about right. So we've done the CGI boat, gradual change of realization. Her eyes water, done that. Now then it goes into this bit. Good scene between Jaime and Cersei about how their daughter Myrcella was good and sweet. I don't know where she came from. She was nothing like me. And then it talks about I thought I could make I thought if I could make something so good, so pure, maybe I'm not a monster.
Mm. No, that was a great scene. I mean, the self-reflection that she has there, that's quite, I mean, it's good stuff.
He was good as well. My favourite character, because I like how he sometimes puts humour in. Like when he first saw Brienne, is that a woman? And then he had that great scene that I put on my wall where he talks about the different. It's not an oath. Did he say oaths? Vows. When he talks about the competing vows.
Yeah. No, great actor as well, and I mean, very well portrayed. And I mean, for maybe he's not as good as an actor like the one that Cersei is playing, but his character is well written. I mean,
yeah,
that's what's good about Jaime character. His character is well written.
And then you got her, like again, you can see it in her face, not overacted. And again, she doesn't need these days. You don't need to actually cry. You can just see it in the eyes. Even on webcam. And then just about, but I don't actually need to see the tears go down the. Oh, yeah, we do it there. We do see the tears there.
No, it also would. Cersei is not the type to cry like over the top, like really bursting into tears. Cersei is not someone who bursts into tears.
Yeah,
would be more subtle. Oh, that scene, I was like forgetting about her. Like, oh yeah, she is still in the prison. I was totally forgetting about her. Did you?
Just a personal note, I think this actress may have been really hot when she was younger.
She's always shot from this angle, and this is I mean, this is great. How towering she looks. This nun, this strict nun. I mean, yeah.
Nun sort of scepter. This is what we've got here. We've got, oh yeah, that was the scene about confession. The nun wants a confession. She's a bit hardcore. Jonathan Pryce comes in, and then she admits a little bit. And he says about the confession, "You have started down the path, but you have many miles to go." And then Marjorie is concerned about her brother, Sir Lois.
Yeah, and the High Septim says something weird, like that her husband loves her. I mean, her husband is a boy who's not fully. Well,
what I'll do at the moment is I will. I think we'll be able to get with it. If I just put the webcam on front, I am going to put the webcam on a box and then balance it. Because I don't want to do the. I'm not prepared to do a full share screen with, because I think I'm going to lift this box up. This big heavy box with books in.
No, I think HBO will be scanning for Game of Thrones YouTube videos and. But maybe I don't know. Maybe they are not that strict about it because they live for the fans. They are not like this. I mean, they produce quality and they know that their fan base that it's a good thing when the fan base is talking about their product, and so they are not just about the money.
There you go. Happy with that? Right. Yeah. This is the C525 Logitech camera. Right, so I actually done some grabs here where you actually see some. But this was a good scene. Right, they actually, and I think I wrote in the notes, wow, they're really moving the story forward with the coup d'etat. And what did I put here? There was another good speech. Yes, again, another good speech from a baddie-ish character where she talks about, you're not a Dornish man, you're not our prince, and how the fact that he didn't avenge a relative that was raped, and he didn't avenge Oberon, who was killed, Prince Oberon, who was killed, and how you've misjudged the people. And so basically the support for her coup.
I was a little surprised by the scene. I wouldn't think that they were moving so fast about it. I mean, it was coming, but I was kind of thinking this character, his bodyguard. I would have thought that they would do more with him, because they seem to have like a personal relationship, and they just kill him here. And I wanted to see more of this character because he is like probably pretty cool. But no, they kill him, and the guards do nothing. The other guards.
Yeah. And then there was this little thing where she's got this little blade, a little dagger there on her wrist.
I didn't.
Yes,
I noticed where she got the dagger from. Okay, so it was in her wrist.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's totally in her character. She's the snake, this viper woman who puts poison on her lips to kill a girl, and so probably the dagger is also poisoned.
Yeah, and then there's a good one where there's a reaction on his face at some point that I might use as the thumbnail.
Yeah, but good. I mean, what you would expect, exactly what you would expect in this moment. Don't kill the messenger.
So yeah, that's when she gives that speech, and then you can see that they're in agreement that he is. But I mean, it is a bit of a. I think it was smart, really.
Yes, I liked him. That's why I was hoping like that he would maybe win this fight, but I don't know this side, but like before I saw this episode, like maybe he would be more clever about not trusting her, and maybe
yeah,
because we like him because he's probably and he
it's strategic.
Yes, he's logical, he's rational, and I mean she's SP-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe something. Yeah.
I like the little twist in this scene where they set up a big fight, and now I've actually done it where I've actually frozen it at the moment of you can see the spike coming through.
Well, where are surprises? I was like that was weird that they would do that. Like
she did call her a bitch. She said, "You greedy bitch."
Yeah, but not because she killed her. Yeah, because she killed her and didn't let her kill him. So that was a weird scene. That was like I don't know what to make of it. Like if they wanted, obviously they are probably better fighters than him.
Yeah.
So why do this whole deceiving thing? I mean, it's probably a Dawn theme that they are treacherous like a snake. So maybe.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
so
that was great. Yeah, the 800-foot pyramid.
yeah, and of course, this bit's real and this bit's CGI. Yeah. So this bit. Certainly here, this bit is real, and then you've got a bit of a transition.
From? Do you know where this was shot?
Oh, well, I know they do Spain, Dubrovnik, they do
Dubrovnik
King's Landing is Dubrovnik.
Yes, I was there. I saw the port and everything.
Have you taken photos?
Yes.
In the next episode, you can show them.
If I still have them.
Well, we can still have them there. I mean, you could.
I probably have them on a flashcard somewhere. I have to look them up because, yeah, this was a great scene. I always like scenes with Tyrion and Varys. Yeah, and this was delicious. Like it was a goofy scene. It was comic relief. But they didn't do it like in any other series. They would do a comic relief that would be like you see it a mile away. It's over the top. Then they play some music in the background that says it's a comic relief scene. But they play it very straightforward. Like it's just something that happens and it's funny. I mean, he says to this beggar woman, "Your baby here, eat."
Yeah.
she thinks he wants to eat her baby.
What grabbed my attention is this is the religion of the Red Woman.
Yes.
The night is dark and full of terrors. So this is obviously setting up a lot of stuff. Now, Wojtek, is it the same religion as Jonathan Pryce, or is it a separate religion?
Jonathan who?
Jonathan Pryce and the nun that you just saw, they have a religious thing going on as well. Is it a different religion from them?
Very different religion. Like this, I can make a quick a synopsis of the religions in Game of Thrones.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, so most of the Westeros, the continent, most of the action takes place, is believing in the seven divines. I think there are 7. That's why they chapels are called septims. And it's an organized form of religion similar to Christianity. And a lot of the scenes you see that they take a lot from Christianity. So basically most of the southern parts of Westeros believe in the 7 divines. And the 7 divines are 7 gods, but they are a representation of one god. They are like several faces of one singular god. And they are very missionary-like. They have these chapels. They have an organization that's very much like the Catholic Church. So that's where the inspiration is drawn from. In the north, they believe in the old gods, and you often hear them say by the new old gods and the new, I swear to do this and that. And the old gods are like a naturalistic religion. They are basically spirits of the forest, they believe.
Yeah.
And you see this sacred trees that they have with their faces cut into them that have bleeding eyes. And that's what the North believes in. It's somewhat shamanistic, somewhat nature religion. The Red Woman, her religion about the god of light is coming from another continent. It's not originating in Westeros. It's from Essos, the eastern continent.
Yeah.
Very easy to remember. I mean, Westeros is in the west, Essos is in the east. But this religion believes that there are 2 gods, one true god, the god of light, the good god, the god of fire, and the other, the dark one, the cold one. And it is implied that the others, the White Walkers, are minions of this dark god. It's somewhat similar to Zoroastrian religion from the Near East. There's a duality between these 2 gods, one evil, one good, and they are in an eternal fight. So yeah, so these people are the Red Priests. The priests of this religion are called the Red Priests, and we hear them say their prayers. For the night is dark and full of terrors.
Yeah. Now here, who do you think set the fires? The slaves or the...
I have no idea. I was so surprised by the scene. It's the ships, right?
Yeah, you're right. It is the ships.
Yeah, because at first I was thinking, what is burning there, and why? But I think it's the ships, and that's why he says, "Oh, we won't be seeing Westeros soon because they can only get by ship there."
I thought it was a city at first. Yeah, you're right. It's the harbour.
The harbour, yeah.
Yeah, you can see there's the water, and there's a little bit of a wake.
And that's the mast of the of a ship, yeah.
Yeah. Because initially I just thought it was the city. Wow. Yeah, what? Right.
Yeah, great scene between the two of them. And now, yeah, okay, this was just a catching up scene, the whole of it. I mean, there's just some comic relief here, like
now
a lover boy ask if he thinks that this was hunted down by a dragon. I mean, it's pretty obvious from what we see.
Yeah.
It's a burn.
Oh, so that press the one button. Now this guy was a recast, in my opinion. This was not the same guy that was in season 3. You know, in the first story that we see him, he had long hair.
Well, Ben, I'm surprised. Even I noticed it, and as I said in the Blake review, I sometimes don't notice that characters change, but I mean the difference was like it's a completely different character.
Yeah, I thought, who is this guy?
It's also a different actor, but it's a completely different character.
Yeah, this guy's probably a better actor than the other guy. Because remember, they had the 3 guys. The guy that turns up with the bag in the head of the other 2.
Yes. I kind of like the old one more. I think I'm singular in this opinion. But the old one was more interesting. Like he was weird. He was, and his weirdness was interesting. This guy is a lover boy, and
yeah. I mean, it's going back a little bit. In terms of acting, I don't really. You didn't really see a lot of the other guy. I'll be fair to him. I didn't really see a lot of him because those 3 guys. It was like 3 of them. Was it like the Brothers of Brantios or something? I can't remember what they were called, but like 2 of them were rude.
The Second Sons. The army that they have are the Second Sons, and they had like 3 chiefs of this.
Oh yeah.
There were a mercenary army that was bought by one of the cities that Daenerys was trying to conquer. I forgot its name. And then he like killed the other 2 leaders and gave the Second Sons the cavalry to Daenerys.
Yeah, and the heads in a bag.
Yes. And this guy, what's his name? Character name?
That is Ser Jorah Mormont, I think. And his sigil is a bear.
No, that's not his name. Say it again?
Ser Jorah Mormont.
Okay. Whatever.
Whatever. Ooh, I don't like it, whatever. But let's have a look what it says. Yeah, Ser Jorah Mormont of the House Mormont. Okay. Put it on here.
Okay.
It's not focusing, I'm sorry, but it is on that.
In the series, I kind of it's not that important. Yeah, he still is infected with a very dangerous, deadly, and very infectious disease.
Oh yes.
And he hides it.
So you see that there, Ser Jorah Mormont. And you see there, that's with the Targaryens. Now he's on his own, and then you've got, I think that's Khal Drogo.
He was the son of the former Lord Commander of the Watch, of the old one, the good one.
Sorry, the camera went. I usually got to put some white in there, and then it will focus on the thing that's white, and then it will go. Anyway, you saw it there, folks. There you go. That's that tree, and that guy at the bottom there with the bear sigil.
I don't think that people can make much out of this.
Yeah, what it is
let's just say this, he's the son of the former Lord Commander, but that's not very important. He was basically a spy of the old Baratheon king to spy on Daenerys, and by the way, is he in love with Daenerys, or is he just idolizing her?
He is totally in love with her.
So romantically in love with her.
Oh yes, definitely unrequited love for Daenerys. Absolutely, 100%. He would do anything for her. There we go. Now it's focused a little bit, and there you go. There's that Targaryen family tree.
The relationship is like, is he like, has he fatherly love for her, or like really he's interested in the woman Daenerys?
He is romantically in love with her, and he believes in her as somebody who is a good person, who could be a great. Now you see, I've got to get it.
What is it? I can't read it.
Oh, this I made this as a webcam cover out of a box of out of a tube of something, and I just did it as a webcam cover, and I put it in front of the camera because it's white, and then it's because the autofocus doesn't work that well when it's dark. Because it's now, if you want a better autofocus, folks, pay 3 times as much for the Logitech camera that's about. But this one's it's a good camera, as you can see, folks, and it's autofocus, which means I can show text. It's just that in low light conditions, the autofocus is difficult.
I normally have like 4 LED lights on my camera that should go off in when the light conditions are bad. But whatever. Okay, let's go on.
Yeah, and then so I thought that scene was good because the good-ish. I put good-ish scene between the two men who love Denny, and then I put here for the next scene. Oh yeah, that's him showing that he's got that that thing that's going to eventually.
He's got lepra.
He's got what?
It's basically. Oh my God, is it called lepra in English? The thing that was in the Middle Ages, like.
Leprosy.
Leprosy, yes.
Folks, blonde guy, blonde eyebrows. Blonde eyebrows for people with blonde hair.
Okay.
Right.
So it's called differently in the Game of Thrones world. It's, I think, stone something.
Oh yeah.
So, but I mean, there's inspiration is. Okay. Next scene is. When will Daenerys learn that stating all her titles doesn't impress the people as much as she thinks?
Well, it sort of worked in this because it led to them finding out that she was the widow of. And also, there's a lot of times where that works, where she does have a powerful delivery. Now, what I said here, I'm a little bit cheekily, but I have noticed. If you look at her arms, I wrote, Denny looks well fed. Maybe the actress is pregnant because she is, and I don't mind this, but she does look, again, black eyebrows because the actress is a brunette in real life. Terrible wig. I mean, she does look, well fed, doesn't she compared to previous seasons? So maybe she is pregnant.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, she used to have a much narrower waist.
Oh,
I think the actress might be pregnant.
okay, interesting prediction of Ben.
Otherwise,
Daenerys is pregnant,
yeah.
so
No. Yeah, Amelia Clark might be pregnant because she looks a bit heavier.
yeah, maybe she just gained weight.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to look at her belly if they did like trying to hide something, but I mean it's a rather tight dress that she has. So either they CGI'd out. I don't know. I don't care about this stuff. Like,
Yeah, no. I was just wondering, her arms looked a bit bigger, but maybe I think it might have been because she increased muscle. I think she did an action movie
oh, okay.
in between. I'm not sure, so she might have increased some muscle mass on her arms.
Oh, what did the scene remind you of?
Well, I was thinking, when I saw this, I thought, is this a flashback?
No, no, like Monty Python, Life of Brian. What did
Oh yes,
the
yes.
Romans
The Romans, what have the Romans ever done for us? Yes, that was good.
Yes. What's can have you a few slides back?
Oh, unfortunately, I didn't take them, but I do like I do like the look of annoyance on his face when. Unfortunately, you see, at this time I was running rather late because it was towards the end of the hangout, and I had to get on with it a bit because I was already like half an hour late because we were supposed to have started at 9 o'clock Vortex time, 8 o'clock mine, and so I didn't take those.
It was such an over-the-top comedic scene. I was very surprised that they put it in here. It nearly put me out. It was nearly too much. Like for the series, it was kind of too much, but I still love it because it reminds me of Monty Python. Like he goes on about what's better than seeing a beautiful woman naked for the first time, and his sons or minions or whatever say. Taming a wild horse, killing your cow, defeating your opponent in battles, and yes, besides this, what?
But I also felt that was like good characterization of the sort of things that they like. So it worked both ways. In like, now I've got to say this sounds funny. Carl Barbo.
Carl Barbo, yeah. Carl Bobo.
And then we're getting towards the end.
We have a Drogo. That would be fun if we had a Carl Bobo. Son of Carl Bobo.
Like this, I mean, if I were in charge of this program, eyebrows.
Yeah, it's strange that they didn't dye their eyebrows. You're right.
Now, I'll tell you someone who did dye their eyebrows, and that's somebody who appears on my channel. And as you know, people on my channel know that Elena Andrusova is a brunette. When she was blonde, she has blonde eyebrows. ENFJ. She's also a good singer as well.
Yeah, I don't.
I remember I showed you the video. Did I show the video of her singing? Olena? Or maybe you were off Facebook at the time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I like this bit. I like the idea of that it introduced this code for the Dothraki and a little bit more in their culture, that kind of thing.
Yes. I mean, there are introduces basically barbarians, wild, raping, drinking, fighting barbarians, and here we show, here we get a glimpse of their culture. Like, they really have a culture with codes and things you basically don't. But what I liked about this was like Daenerys at this moment was like, oh, okay, now I'm a queen. Finally, I get respect, and then you get sent to the retirement home of the Khaleesi widows.
Well, something else I think you can see through the wig is that you can see some black bits through the wig. They're like her natural hair, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you read the books?
No.
Right. So I won't talk about her
Have you read
blindness then.
Have you read the books?
No, but my mother has, who's an ISTJ, and she loves all the detail, all of the sensory description and all of that.
And the history, maybe. History. And
so, do you want me to tell the difference in the books? Because they have diverted from the books.
I read some stuff, so I basically know, but you can still tell it. I know that, especially in her storyline, yeah.
Yeah, she gets over the blindness quicker in the book. That she's only blind. So what it probably means is by episode 3 or 4 she'll be able to see, and then the woman that was whacking her, she'll be in for it.
It would, yeah. I don't know that much about that because, as I said, I try not to spoil myself. But this was a weird scene also. I mean, she just came by to basically beat her up, and we also know that she is not really a little girl, or maybe she is, or maybe she's a man, or maybe she is an old guy or an old woman or whatever. She's a faceless man. I very much like the last episode of the last season where it is shown that faceless men are not just people who can change their faces, like they are shapeshifters. They can take any form.
Now, I like this actress.
Yes, me too.
The look of her. Right. I should be saying these things on camera about my preferences. Right. Is that focused? I can't tell. Oh, there we go. CGI direwolf again. 5 years time, it's going to be so good. It's going to be undetectable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that little bit on the fur, on the texture. It's not. It just needs a couple more passes, as I've said before. And this is when Thorn comes in, and then we have the scene. Now, I edited around this so as not to.
Let's pause there. Don't fast forward. Let's pause there because this is quite a lot. Like in another series, the actress would be has too much vanity to do a scene like this. It would never happen in another series because I mean, she's a very attractive actress, and I don't think this would happen in any other series.
Oh, well, what happened with the other series? I mean, at the end of the last season, Lena Headey. There's an example of the CGI, folks, where I watched it in standard definition. And although it did look a bit, and she didn't want to go naked, so they did a CGI naked body on her in the final episode of the previous season. You know when she went through the streets naked?
That was CGI?
Yes, it was CGI. They CGI'd her head onto somebody's body.
Oh, okay, so it was a body stunt.
Yeah, it was a join, and it was and it had to look very. There was just that little, and you had to look carefully. And then I think when I watched it in high definition, when you watch it in high definition, you can see. Like I said, it's so close. It's so close to being the real deal. Like when they talk about CGI in the 1990s, and I was like, what? It looks so cartoony and fake. But now it's like living up to its promise.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's this there's a name for this psychological effect that you can detect small differences of CGI more when it's over the top cartoony. But anyways, let's talk about the scene because this is great.
I think what's going on here is this is showing that the old woman is her true form.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. I saw it coming when she started to look in the mirror. Like when the first time she looked at the mirror. At first, I thought she would do some sort of ritual with the fire, but then she looks at the mirror, and I somewhat saw it coming. And then You
I
have,
stopped there, folks. What I mean is I cut around the. I don't show any. That's as suggestive as it gets.
yes. I mean, she's amazingly beautiful. She is really something. But and then they do this.
I think she's a Dutch actress, and she's perfectly cast, I believe, for that character. 10 out of 10. Her performance.
Yes.
Because she has got that strange quality about her. Perfect for that part. Wojtek, you're distracted somewhat by
Hey, come on.
her form.
I thought you were telling 10-10 about her.
But
yeah.
then,
I mean, wow.
And then again, I edited around this so as not to show too much nudity in the Hangout. And then now, what they could have done is they could have done the metamorphosis, but maybe that would have given things away. And then there we go.
Whoa.
Get an actress though with a totally different nose.
The eyes are the same, and that's what I liked about it. It's her eyes, and you see it, and the mouth part is like it's her facial expression. I guess this is a costume combined with CGI. I have to look it up. But
I would think. Let's have a look at her face. You know what I think it is? Right, you see, you know what I think it is? I think it's just an old woman.
no, it looks very mask-ish. When you look at the latest scenes, the shots of her body, it looks it kind of doesn't look real. Like I don't think that's a real. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this. We have.
No, I see what you mean. I do see what you mean.
Yeah, but and what I was surprised about is how blandly they are about it. They could have done it like we just see the reflection, or we see just a small shot of her, like a glimpse, a moment. But no, they go like for several, like half a minute, full exposure.
Yeah, I spare the audience those screen caps.
Yes. Watch it yourself. I mean, come on. When you watch Game of Thrones, you get to see things. But this was very interesting. This was like one of these moments in the show where you go, wow. Cool.
Now that might have been the sort of thing that Jeff and Morgan would have objected to. That sort of thing, but hopefully they wouldn't have.
Yeah, maybe, but like the thought of it. I mean, we saw the actress like having the scenes with Jon Snow and Stannis Baratheon, of course, and so wow.
this bit irks me, like tax credits for so the government picks and chooses. So Game of Thrones that makes a shitload of money, pardon my French, they get a tax break. So other people got to pay the full whack, and yet they get they get the tax break. So it's an example of corporatism, of like, who are they to tax them anyway? Because I don't even believe in the premise of the income tax. But there we go.
The Australian government?
Yeah.
The visual effects produced with the help of the Australian government.
Yeah, I think now I do know there's a little bit of that in Queensland, but
yeah, but why the Australian government? If it's an Australian company, then you would just.
No, it's not. It's a lot of weird stuff going on, and then you've got here, province of British Columbia. Well, what you got there is is Vancouver in British Columbia.
Now
they get a load of work in Vancouver because they have tax. This is why it's not made in California, because California is a high tax state. But my point though is that Game of Thrones makes a load of money, and they will be paying tax at a lower rate than other companies that make far less money.
Yeah.
So you get this this corporatism of picking winners and losers and other things.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so it's almost hypocritical because it's like it's inconsistent, because it's like, oh, we have lower taxes, that means they'll come. Hang on a minute, if it's good enough for them, why isn't it good enough for everybody else? And that's because they're well connected.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't a lot of Hollywood movie production get tax cuts? And I mean, for HBO, I don't mind, because they produce quality and they are all about quality. So,
well, yeah, my point though is that the government gets to decide, oh, you get the tax cut, you get this, or there's a misnomer right there. It's their own money anyway.
I don't think that the government is the one that decides that. I think the government is the one that gets pressured into it, because there are powerful influences that...
Oh yeah, that's what I mean by the corporatism though.
Yeah.
That's involved with it. And there'll be other businesses that have to pay...
Let's finish maybe the recording at
yes.
this point. And
right, yes. We now get into on-screen Northern Ireland, investment Northern Ireland, you know. And then we got 2016, HBO make a load of money. So there you go.
I think like we are already at least 2.5.
It's depth. People want depth. This is the depth channel. And for the 5 people that watched it, we'll see how it goes, Wojtek. So it's goodbye from Baldy Ben, and
goodbye 5 people who watch us.
Right. Right.